My name is Leah. I'm 34, and I never planned to stay in that town. It was supposed to be just a stop. One night, one room, one sunrise before I left again. But the sea had other plans. The morning I arrived, the sky was gray, the kind of gray that feels like quiet. I found a cafe by the pier, small, with fogged-up windows and the smell of cinnamon and salt. It looked like the kind of place where stories begin without warning. That's where I met Mara. She was behind the counter, wearing an oversized sweater and a messy bun, humming softly to herself. There was something about her, calm but strong, like she carried her own weather inside her. She asked, "Coffee or tea?" I said, "Surprise me." She smiled. Brave answer. The coffee was perfect, warm, rich, with a tiny heart drawn in foam, a cliché, but one that made me smile anyway. For the next few days, I kept coming back. Same seat, same window, same sea stretching endlessly beyond the glass. Mara always noticed me before I spoke. She'd ask about my day, about where I was headed next, and I'd lie, just a little, because I didn't want her to know I didn't have a plan. One afternoon, the rain started again, sudden, wild. Everyone rushed out except us. She locked the door, turned off the sign, and said, "You can wait it out." The world outside disappeared, only the sound of rain and the hum of the coffee machine. She handed me a towel, laughing. "You always bring the storm with you." "Or maybe you just notice it," I said. She looked at me then, really looked, and something changed in the air. It wasn't just the rain or the warmth or the smell of coffee. It was the way she stood there, close enough for me to feel her breath. Her hand brushed my wrist when she reached for a cup. The touch lingered. Our eyes met, and neither of us moved. It wasn't dramatic, just quiet, heavy, real. And in that moment, I knew I wasn't leaving tomorrow. The storm passed sometime before dawn. When I woke up, the cafe was still quiet, only the faint hum of the refrigerator and the whisper of waves outside. Mara was sitting by the window, her legs tucked under her, staring at the horizon as if the sea was speaking to her. The air smelled like coffee and salt, warm and familiar. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like a guest in someone else's life. She turned when she heard me. "You stayed," she said softly. "I didn't mean to," I answered. "Maybe you did." She smiled. There was something different in her eyes that morning. Not surprise, not hesitation, just quiet certainty. The kind that comes when two people stop pretending they don't care. We made breakfast together. Eggs, toast, and burnt pancakes we both laughed about. Every movement felt slow, deliberate, as if time itself was reluctant to move on. The sunlight fell across the table in golden stripes, painting her hair in fire and honey. She reached over to wipe a crumb from my lip. A simple gesture, but it pulled me closer than any words could. Our hands met, fingers brushing, then holding, neither of us wanting to let go. "You don't have to leave today," she said quietly. "And if I stay? Then I'll make you coffee every morning until you forget what leaving feels like." I laughed, half in disbelief, half in relief. And she did too. Then without a word, she leaned in. Her kiss was soft at first, tasting faintly of cinnamon and morning light. Then deeper, unhurried, certain, like it had been waiting behind every glance, every word, every shared silence. The waves crashed outside, a gull cried somewhere over the pier, and for the first time, I felt still, truly still. Later, we walked along the beach, shoes in our hands, the sand cool beneath our feet. She told me she'd grown up here, that she'd once dreamed of leaving but never did. I told her I'd spent my whole life running, chasing things that never stayed. She stopped, turned to me and said, Maybe the trick isn't to find new places. Maybe it's to find the one that feels like home. That evening, as the sun slipped into the sea, I watched her lock up the cafe. The wind tugged at her hair, and she laughed when it brushed her face into mine. I stayed. Not for a night, not by accident, but because I'd finally found something worth staying for.